Hello, once again, my lovely moms out there on this wonderful Sunday. And before I go on, I want you to know a little bit about myself. I help Christian working mothers find real connection with God and other women. Without the mom guilt, I do this through the mother motivated method. This is where we build connection through honest conversations, faith filled check ins, and laughter that refills your soul. And that's what I do. And so this is why I come on here every weekend to talk with you live. Hi, Jessica. How are you? Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this channel. And so that is what I do. And so today we are going to be talking about hoarding, okay? And why moms are doing this. Drop in the comments and let me know if you have ever hoarded something. I want to have a really good conversation about this. Have you held on to something so sentimental that you could not let it go? And my next question is, have you ever watched Marie Kondo and how she helps people to release items that no longer bring them joy? And so, hi, Richard, how are you? I just asked a nice, wonderful question. Have you ever held on to something that was sentimental and you just couldn't let it go? And today I want to talk about hoarding. And I know we've seen shows out there about hoarding and different things, except now I'm going to take it from the standpoint of mothers. Richard, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this channel with all the moms out there that you know. Hi, Selenise, how are you? Hi, T Ducking, how are you today? And so, here's the real truth behind why many mothers hoard or hold on to things. I've been doing some research and looking into a lot of things. And one of them is actually emotional attachment and identity. Just think about some of the things that we hold on to with our children. There are toys, there's clothes, different things. Um, it does count if you don't consider it hoarding. Baby teeth. Listen, it's okay. I have saved baby teeth, but you don't have to call it hoarding, but I'm going to go through a few things as to why moms hold on to certain things. And hi, Ava, how are you? There are a few things, and one of them is actually the emotional attachment and identity. So we get emotional attachments to some of the things that we have, especially when our children are born. So we often tie memories to objects. And think about it. What do you tie to your son's baby tooth, right? What kind of sentimental value does that have for you? Because a lot of moms actually do this, and we save a lot of our children's items. Sometimes maybe more so of our own items, but there are many moms out there who have items from when they were babies. And then we think about it, what is that sentimental reason for holding on to it? I want you to really dig down deep and drop it in the comments. Like, what is a reason why you're holding on to what you're holding on to? Of course, in motherhood, and why your mother probably held on to something for you. Maybe it's generational, you want to pass it down. Um, yes, so these teeth have a sentimental value to you, and it reminds you of when he was a baby, right? And like you said, baby, toddler, because they grow up so fast. So when you hold on to those teeth, it's like you kind of keep him in that moment, right? Um, Ike Knox, I have no idea why your pastor is asking you for that. Right now, we're talking about hoarding and motherhood, but money is not the root of all evil. The love of money, because people do things to get money, and a lot of them, they have evil intentions. But money itself is not evil. The Bible actually says money helps. So when you go to church, it is good to offer money. Actually, people are supposed to freely give it in order to support the work. But anyways, that's another conversation. That's deep. But as Jessica was saying, it reminds her. Tea ducking. We're not talking about that right now. Right. The money itself isn't evil, but the people who utilize it have evil intentions. So as we continue, um, talking about the sentimental value of these baby teeth. Anyways, I talk about emotional attachment and identity because mothers tie memories to actual objects, like you tied it to the teeth, and it keeps that memory of your child as to, when he was younger. Okay. So think about the onesies that your children had. It's not just fabric, it's the memory of who your child was. I'm sorry, it's a memory of who you were when your child was younger and when they fit into it. Sometimes we save these little onesies because it keeps that sentimental value so you can remember yourself, that peace, that love that you had for the child. There are different sentimental values that maybe a piece of clothing from your child has carried, or even something that your mother saved for you from your childhood. But we think about that clothing item, and honestly, we think about ourselves. Sometimes it's the freedom. Sometimes we think about, man, I didn't have to work. Because sometimes we work, but we want to spend the time with our children. And at the same time, we want to work. And yes, exactly. So tea ducking, you love the memories because they bring back good times. And that's true. You look at all of these clothing items and you realize the good times that these things bring. Um, Oh, good, Jessica. So you kept a few of the outfits. And that's very good because what happens is it brings you back to that time. And so, tea ducking, I hope you're enjoying the memories that um, these sentimental things bring back to you. Yes, Jessica, you're so right. We're all hoarders to some degree. If you want to, if you want to say it like that, we can. And you know what? You don't have to call it hoarding. Hoarding becomes bad when you start to clutter. And it's okay to keep some things and have that sentimental value. It's the same way we have photos, so that you can remember certain memories. Like you said, your children grow up so fast that there's certain things you keep to remember them, right? And eventually they leave the home, but you still have these memories of them, and it's really good because it's nostalgic. It brings you back to the time. And so we can keep toys and papers and old bottles. They mark seasons of your life, right? um, Sometimes when that life that you're living is moving too fast, these things that you keep, they kind of bring you back without they bring you back to that time. So we're talking about motherhood and hoarding, tea ducking, and some moms actually hold on to old consoles like gaming consoles and paintings. It's really funny because my family, they love to paint, and it's really nice to see them on the wall because I can say when my child was maybe 5 years old, they painted that. And it's nice to see the progression as they grow. And sometimes paintings, they help to tell a story that, my child is growing, they're learning, they're adapting, they're fine tuning. And you can actually help them to fine tune certain things, right? So even as you're holding on to some sentimental values during this time of motherhood, you can use them as lessons, times when you can actually learn. So, number two, sometimes we hoard or hold on to things because we don't want to lose control, and it's a sense of comfort. If this is resonating with you, drop in the comments and let me know, what have you held on to and you feel like, you just didn't want to lose control of that. And motherhood can feel like constant chaos because there's so many things going on. I mainly talk to Christian working moms, and the thing is that we go out to work and we come in and then we're at home, and we're doing so many things in between cooking, and sometimes we feel like we're the only ones who can clean the best, we're the ones who can cook the best, and all of these things, and if we don't do it, it can't get done right, and all these other things. But sometimes we hold on to things because we don't want to lose control, and it's a sense of comfort to us. It keeps us feeling in control. And mother, like I said, it can feel like constant chaos, the schedules, the moods, the messes, the noises. And so we want to control these things. And a lot of times when we can't control it, we try to hold on to the things that we can. And I think in some ways we all do that. We keep things just in case because it gives us a sense of control. It's like saying, um, if I have what I need, I'll be okay, right? And even if it's clutter, it feels like safety. But sometimes when we hold on to some things too long, which I have done, and I have some things that I have held on to, and now after having my last child, some things have changed in the wardrobe. And I am going to be decluttering this coming week. At least I'm going to begin again because I already started decluttering. And what happens is when you get rid of certain things, of course, when they don't bring you joy anymore. Remember, I said, like Marie Kondo, if you've never seen her show, she helps a lot of people to get rid of certain items in their home because honestly, it's not needed. It becomes clutter. And what happens is when you hold on to certain things, as it starts to clutter, it becomes a mental stress more so than just a sentimental memory. And she teaches them how to have a certain memory and then be able to let it go because it no longer brings them joy. After that point in time, it's clutter. Okay? And you hold on to some things. And when you hold on to it, it doesn't allow for new things to come into your life, right? So we go through seasons and stages. It's just like our children, they were babies, and then they became toddlers. After that, they became a preteen, then they became a teenager, then a young adult. And hi, Katie from Holland, how are you? And then your child becomes an adult and they go on to live their own lives. They go through stages. After a while, we can't control some things. And there's some things we need to get rid of because eventually it becomes clutter, mental stress, and we do need to let them go. Okay? And so, another one, number three, is guilt and a scarcity mindset. And this is what I was talking about before, in that many moms, especially those who have struggled financially or emotionally, they think, what if I need this later? They hold on to it. Do you have that outfit that you hold on to? First of all, when we have children, we hold on to certain like maternity clothes, like items. And it's like, yeah, what if I need it again? Meanwhile, we've had like 3 or 4 kids, and we think that, oh my gosh, I'm going to need it again. It's cost so much money and different things like that. But we never get rid of certain things in order to let joy. Hi, Akand, how are you? Hi, Patty, how are you? Good to have you here. Um, when we don't let these things go, we don't allow space for other types of joy to come into our lives. We kind of stay stuck, right? It's that control. But sometimes control can keep us away from certain joys. And so, because we have a scarcity mindset, what happens is we think that you're going to waste it. What if your child needs it again? The mindset comes from a season of lack. And I've heard the story where in the Garden of Eden, there were so many things in the garden that was abundant, but yet Adam and Eve had to go to the one thing they could not have. When we have the scarcity mindset, and we think that these things are hard to attain, or if we get rid of it we can't get something else. When we live that way, it makes it difficult for us to recognize the things we actually do have. And so if this is resonating with you, once again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn the notification bell on. And there are a lot of you who are watching on here who have not just subscribed as yet or even shared the channel. And I would love for you to do so. This way I can get out there to other moms and then we can talk more about things that moms go through. Not only that, um, hi Nick, how are you? I don't know what five people are, but one thing I want to tell you is that I do have a Christian moms group. It is the Christian Working Moms group, and I'm going to drop the link in the comments, and it's also in my bio, so you can find it in there. And I would love to invite all my Christian working moms out because it's a place where we connect. And if you're on here now, you're just coming on to here, I wanted to just let you know that I help Christian working mothers find real connection with God and with other women. Because one thing that moms are looking for is actually connection, warmth, and other women who get it. This is without the mom guilt. And I do it through my mother motivated method where we build connection through honest conversations, faith filled check ins, and laughter that, of course, refills your soul. And so we're out here talking about hoarding. And number three, I said, was guilt and a scarcity mindset. And so sometimes we have a season of lack or just, we go through times where we've grown up and we lack certain things and we tend to hold on to them until the point where it becomes hoarding. It's okay to have sentimental items, but when you start to hoard and it's taking over the place, it's time to start throwing things out. And so, number four, stay with me until the end and I will let you know more about the group. Number four, lack of self focus. Sometimes the clutter represents mom's unmet needs. Moms, this is why I created this group, is because sometimes mothers have unmet needs and they don't want it met by just any random person. Sometimes we have questions or things we want to get off of our chest that our friends or our mother or our family cannot answer for us. Hi Anand, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. And in this group, you can ask some questions that other moms, they've gone through it. And so this is what this group is for, to create that connection. The link is in my bio, and I'm going to drop the link in the comments when this is done. So definitely come back. And so sometimes the clutter represents mom's unmet needs. Hi Anand, it's good morning where you are. It's night where I am. Mom ends up pouring into everyone else. So her own spaces and routines, and guess what? Her emotions pile up. Mom becomes so cumbered. She's giving everything to everyone else that she doesn't have any time for herself. This is something that I ask mothers, is that, what do you want? What is it that you want? And a lot of moms always tell me what their children need. A lot of times they don't know what they want because they've poured everything out to their children. Their lives evolve around them. The things they do, sports they play. They're only mom. They're only friends with like other mom friends. And don't get me wrong, it's actually really good to have that because you have things in common. But sometimes it can get iffy with children because the kids don't always like each other, but the moms might. So you're gonna have to work that one out. So it's good to have other mom friends with, they might have kids, but the kids don't necessarily have to be friends. And moms, I just want to say it's not laziness. It's evidence of emotional overload and survival mode where you have the lack of self-focus. Okay? So when things begin to pile up and you're hoarding, if you're on here late, don't forget to like and subscribe. And we're talking about hoarding and why mothers actually do so. And some have dropped in the comments as to some things that they've held on to. So if you're here joining us later, drop in the comments and let me know what you have held on to that has some kind of sentimental value to you. And if any of these four reasons have resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe. So I will go over them in the end. Number 5, meaning and motherhood are intertwined with the things that we hold on to. They have a deeper reason. Because so much of mom's identity is wrapped up in caring for others. If that's you, definitely raise your hand in the comments and say, me. You're wrapped up in caring for others. It's natural in motherhood because we were built to nurture. We are nurturers. And many of our things are tied to our caregiving. So if we save a onesie, or if we save um, a shirt that we used to wear, we remind ourselves of how good of a mother we were, or how good of a caregiver we were, and how good the child was, and even the scent of the child. It's just nostalgic. And so it becomes a part of your identity. And decluttering feels like redefining who you are. Sometimes moms don't want to get rid of those sentimental things because the memories are so good. And what happens is, if you get rid of some of them, you feel like it's like throwing your life away, right? You're throwing away all your memories. But there's some things that don't bring you joy anymore. And like I said, once they start getting to that point where you're hoarding and there's tons of things left over, you're hoarding, okay? Because then it becomes a mental stress. And that takes emotional readiness. So I am not saying just go and start throwing things away. Take the time. Hi, Basically Natural. How are you? Thank you so much for being here. It takes emotional readiness to actually take things out and get rid of them. You don't just throw things out. You sit down and have a moment with your belongings and say, you know what, these are the memories. Maybe there are other ways to hold on to those memories. Honestly, okay. So when I was younger, I used to hold on to a lot of things. And so one day my friend came over, and and I had a lot of stuff in the attic, and we went into the attic, and I literally, we were in high school. I had artwork and projects from like second grade. But I remember holding on to it. And when I looked at it, like, I was impressed with myself that at my second grade level, that I had taken so much time out to create a project that had so much detail. Like, I literally sat down, like, I can remember it now. This is how um, nostalgic this is. I literally sat down and cut each person out. I was doing a battle, and I cut out each soldier, and they were probably like this big. And they were probably like 50 of them on this page. And I had cannons, and I had the smoke, and I had the fire. I mean, so many different things. And I held on to it because, I mean, I worked so hard on it, and it looked so good. And I held on to it for so long. And she was like, why are you holding on to these projects? Like, what are they going to do for you? And I thought about it after that. I was like, actually, I have no idea. Like, I really don't know. Like, is it going to do something for me? Like, I'm not quite sure, because I think about it now, and, I don't have those projects. And I think about my motherhood, and I'm like, wow, it's good to have these memories. You can take some pictures or photos and stuff like that. But even if I had it now, honestly, it would be clutter. Like, I'm not doing anything with it. It was just something that, I worked really hard on. And don't get me wrong, there are some things that I saved, but it's not everything. And I ended up throwing a lot of things out. And I didn't feel any way, because I sat there and I looked at everything, and I had a moment and I had a time. I didn't just throw things in the garbage. But when I say I had papers upon papers, and she's like, why are you holding on to this? And of course, she had no emotional attachment to it like I did, because of course it was my stuff. So it's when you are detaching from some things, this is what I'm talking about, moms and connection. It's good to have someone else be there with you to help you to understand why you're holding on to something. And if it's not bringing you any joy, honestly, if someone can help you and tell you if something is clutter or if it's not. Because if you can't even tell them, what this thing means to you, honestly, get rid of it. Throw it out. And so, we look at these things as identity, and then you have to ask yourself, does this really define me? Because you have to. Hi, Melanie. We're talking about motherhood and hoarding. Um, right now, I'm on number five, meaning and motherhood are intertwined because a lot of them look at it as their identity, Melanie. And so decluttering feels like you're redefining yourself. Sometimes we don't want to change. That's why we hold on to things. But guess what? You go through seasons in life. You're an adult, and then you become, midlife. And then it's like, are you going to wear the same outfit you did as a teenager? No. Thank you so much, Melanie. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. I'm working to get to over 400 and then eventually to 500. So help me out. And when I do that, then I can get this out more often. And then I can bring the content that you would like to hear because more people will hear it and actually come on live. And yes, Jessica, change can be hard for some, and you're right. And this is why I say it's good to have a friend or someone with you. That's like what I did. And it's good to have a friend with you and do it. For some people, it's difficult, and I'm not going to tell you that it's easy. Of course, I've narrowed it down to mothers and why we hold on to things, but eventually, after a certain amount of time, it becomes hoarding. Melanie, you're a hoarder. Actually, DIY is not bad. I don't know what fast fashion is. Maybe you can explain it, what that means. Um, Hi, Carolini. How are you? And so, Jessica, yes, change can be hard. And Melanie, how do you know that you are a hoarder? Hi, Bad. How are you? It's good to have you on here tonight. How do you know that you're a hoarder, Melanie? I would like to hear your story. Do you are you is your are your belongings or whatever you have becoming overwhelming? Is it starting to cause you stress? Are you starting to feel burdened by it? Because if it's like tons of paintings, there are things you can do with it and still have the same nostalgic feelings. Hi, Ariel, how are you? And so, Melanie, you can take those paintings because I know you said you like to do DIY. You can take your paintings and you can give them to other people as gifts. So when you talk to them or where you because those things can become nostalgic to others, but you are decluttering. You're not getting rid of it. I'm not saying you need to trash or get rid of things. Sometimes I have clothing items and I have items for my children and my husband doesn't like when I actually like I'll give it to like Goodwill or to families in need and different things like that. Why? Because I'm like I don't want to throw some really good things away. Like they still have life in them. And you don't have to just throw things out, if you get what I'm saying. Hi, Angel. How are you? I'm talking about hoarding, and I want you to drop in the comments some things that you've held on to and what sentimental value or reasons you've held on to them. And so, yes, you don't have to just throw things in the trash. You can actually give them away, give them to, you can give them to, like I said, homes for children in need, women in need, men in need, anyone who needs something. You don't just get rid of things, but sometimes that sentimental value, you still have it knowing that you're able to share it with someone else, right? Hi, H. Harris, how are you? Um, we won't be selling them for that. What I'm saying is giving them away because they still hold on to that sentimental value. And so, yes, Jessica, you still have books, okay, from college. And you graduated in '04. What do you plan to do with those books? So let me ask you this question, Jessica. Do you consider that to be hoarding? What are you going to do with these books? Um, do they have some kind of like, are you planning to do something in that profession later? Or is this consider like, is it causing you stress? Is it cluttering the home? Can you give it to someone else who may need it? Because you can still hold the value. It's harder when you throw things in the garbage, but if when you can donate it or give it to someone else, you still hold on to that value, right? So let me know in the comments. And Angel, you have a sweatshirt with your last name on it. Since you were in middle school and you do not want to give it away, you're going to keep it forever. Well, things like that, I think that they have some really good sentimental value. And that's like I have a sweater with my son's name on it. And of course, I still have it. He's a teenager. It was when he was like maybe like 2 or 3 years old. But things like that, it's very nice to hold on to it. And then when he gets older and he has his children, can pass it on to his children. And it holds some great sentimental value. So holding on to that sweatshirt is not a bad idea. I think that's really good because it's a part of your identity. It's your name, who you were, unless it's causing you stress. Because if it's causing you stress, I'm saying get rid of it. But if it's bringing you joy, it reminds you of a time when you were productive. Maybe you were creative. You used to build whatever you did. It's giving you that nostalgic peace, and it actually brings you that peace. And times you can take it out and look at it. Then I believe it's something good to hold on to, because even when you're having those down days and times, you can actually go and look at the sweater and be like, you know what? There was a time I used to dot 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 dot. And then you think about how have you changed? How have you capitalized on that moment? Also, sometimes we forget the good things that we are capable of. And when we go back to like your sweater, you can look at it and say, you know what? I used to be really good at painting. Maybe I'll try it again. So sometimes these things are actually good. They actually bring really good value. So Melanie, of course, you said it's not very overwhelming. So you're quite happy about them. Good. So you make them into new things. So here's the thing, Melanie. You're taking those items and making them into something else that is new. Um, Good. So you give your paintings to others as well as your clothing too. And you like making new things, and that's really good. And the thing is that this thing is bringing you joy, not stress. When we think about extreme hoarders, what happens is they're actually scared of something. And so it's a little bit different than like you're making your DIY, because this thing is bringing you joy and you give them away. You're not throwing them out. You're giving them to someone else to bring them joy. It's, the word says it's more blessed to give than to receive. So you take the things that are joyful and you give them to others because you want to bring them joy too. That's when you give gifts to people. When something is good. You don't give people things that are bad. You know what I mean? It's like when you give away clothing, you're not going to give them something torn that you throw into the garbage. But it's really nice that you're able to create and give these things to others, because you know what? The blessings will come back to you. It might not be the same person, but others will start to give onto you. And so you have paper, Angel, you have papers since elementary, that you did in elementary school. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you heard my story, but I actually had some things from elementary school. To tell you the honest truth, I've gotten rid of all those things. I really don't need them now. I'm still very creative. I have my hobby and I do certain things, but like I said, if it's something that reminds you of what you can do now, that's great. As long as it's bringing you joy and it's not stressing you out. Um, I don't know what a chemical romance shirt is, but Melanie, sometimes old pieces of clothing, they do bring us joy. And we don't, like I said, we don't have to throw them away. Sometimes things are cluttering and we have to get rid of them. But instead of just throwing it into the garbage, hi, Brad, how are you? Brad Reader, how are you today? Instead of throwing them into the garbage, you can donate them, you can give them to others, but allow people to share in that joy. And so, Jessica, okay, so you have your book, and your book is in storage, and you kept it because you thought you would need it. You planned on continuing with your education. Oh, so okay, so you did your undergraduate degree, you took a break and planned on going to law school after your break. Of course, life happens. It happens in motherhood, and you went a different route. So now, so did I just remind you that you need to give those books away? Yeah, because you know what? You're in a different season of your life. I mean, unless you're planning to go back into law, honestly, it's probably just clutter right now. And I'm not telling you to throw it away. You can give it to, maybe you have a cousin, a friend who's probably thinking about it. They want to read through it. You can donate it to a library. You can donate it to Goodwill. Someone can make really good use of it. Sometimes I don't like throwing good things away. And, school books are one of those because they can be used, okay? And of course, in motherhood, life tends to happen. And so, yeah, so maybe you have some other things in storage that maybe you probably need to give away, and so that it doesn't collect any more dust, if you get what I'm saying. But yeah, books are one of those things. And like I told you, I do have some things from elementary school that I have gotten rid of. I know I no longer need them, basically. And Melanie, so we're talking about the sweater. You said it's a brand. Oh, okay. I don't know that brand. I've never heard of them. Okay, it's a brand and they're amazing, but not everyone's cup of tea. Okay, understood. So, not everything is going to be everyone's cup of tea, and we recognize that. And but even though a lot of things are not everyone's cup of tea, we respect each other. We don't have to like everything, but we do have respect. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a band, not like a fashion brand. Oh, that's a band. Okay, I don't know the band. I'm so sorry. No, you didn't actually make a mistake. I just said it wrong. It's okay. But Melanie, thank you so much for being on here. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this is resonating with you. I, you know, I do like talking to Christian working moms. But one thing I've realized is that even though I am talking to Christian working moms, there are so many people who identify with the same problems they go through. And I just want to say, hi, Toasty, how are you? If you're a mom and you're on here right now, I'm going to be dropping the link in the comments when this live is done. And you can look in my bio. I do have my Christian working moms group. The pre launch is going to be on Wednesday at 8 p.m. And okay, Toasty, I'm not able to address that right now. Um, and so, Weirdo, I can definitely pray for you, okay? I will definitely pray about it. And all the mothers on here, definitely pray about that cancer. And, okay, just hold on and ask the Lord to, guide you, direct you in the direction that you should go. And so, Melanie, you are so welcome. um, oh, okay. I'm so happy to help you. I'm usually on here on the weekends. You can always keep contact with me. You can send me an email. I'm at connect@mothermotivated.com. I'm also on there. I know you said you're not a mother anymore, but I'll be happy to answer any questions. It's like I said, I come on here because so many people need connection. I've narrowed it down to Christian working moms, but there are many that who need connection, and it's something that we are um, craving for. We're craving connection, and it's a lot of people, especially in the world we live in today. A lot of people are in need of love, and so this is why I have created Mother Motivated to connect with people, and and so I hope that, things definitely work out for you, Melanie. And you are so absolutely welcome. Definitely, you can come on here at any time. You can comment. You can leave a comment. You can like, subscribe, help out the channel to move on. And I would, I'm out here answering questions. And I usually have these lives because I love conversing with people. Some people like to drop videos, but I feel like I'm not talking to anyone. And when it comes up to hoarding, um, sometimes we hold on to things that really have no sentimental meaning. They don't actually bring us peace, and there's no joy to it. But sometimes when we give them away, that's where the peace and the joy comes in. It's more blessed to give than to receive. And we will get pressed down, shaking together, and running over. Okay? And so I believe every issue of life is found in the Word of God, and how we live our lives, you can actually look in the Word of God. And if you need any help, definitely contact me. And so, Weirdo, you are welcome. Definitely praying. Jessica is praying with you. All moms on here, anyone on here right now, definitely pray with Weirdo that, he will be healed of his cancer. And so, I'm just going to do a quick, full recap of what we were talking about with hoarding. So, number one was emotional attachment and identity. So, these are some reasons why moms hoard. We tie memories to objects. Two would be loss of control and the comfort that we have when we hold on to these things. And then we have to ask ourselves, is it worth it? Is it actually bringing me the joy that I need, or is it just causing me stress? Because if you're stressed out about it, it needs to go. And as Jessica said earlier, it's not easy, and it's good when you can do it with someone. All right, number three, guilt and a scarcity mindset. How many times we think that if we get rid of something, that you might need it later, or what if you waste it, or you're trashing it, or different things like that. I am saying you don't have to trash things. You can donate them, you can give them away, because it brings you peace in knowing that you didn't get rid of it, but you're sharing that joy with someone else. And this is where it's blessed to give. Okay, because things will come back into return to you, and you've created a space for you to receive. Number four, lack of self focus. Sometimes the clutter represents your unmet needs. And so, um, oh, Melanie, yes, thank you so much, God is King. Hi, Pumbaa the pig, how are you? And all right, Weirdo, I'll see you another time. Okay, and Melanie, oh, okay. So you are a minor. You can invite your mom to come on here, Melanie. Bye, Weirdo. All right. Thank you so much. And hi, this is Kay. How are you? Sing, Melanie, thank you. God bless you as well, and your family as well. And hi, Theo and Nicole. How are you? Hi, Mr. Handsome. I am not Asian. Um, it depends on which Asian country you're talking about, but no, I'm not Asian. I don't know. Um, Goat guy, yes, self focus, meaning you're unable, you're focusing on yourself. You have unmet needs, so you hold on to things to try and meet the need. This is like when, when people are in a marriage and the marriage is on the rocks, and it's very hard in that marriage because both of them in the marriage aren't looking out for each other. And because they have unmet needs, they hold on to other things like the children. So one likes to spend time with the kids and not the actual spouse. And things like this actually happen where you're doing things to, I guess, please yourself or help that unmet need. And this is where the self focus comes in. And this is why we hoard things, because we're trying to meet a need. Maybe someone left in your life and you have that one thing that's left of them. Um, and this is just another reason why we hoard things, and sometimes we can't let them go because of the value that they carry for ourselves, not because it's for someone else. We just have those unmet needs, and we can go deeper with that, but yes, that's where the self focus is. And number five is meaning and motherhood. They're somewhat intertwined, and a lot of times moms' identities are wrapped up in the things that they hold on to from the time their children were younger, right? And I don't know what some of those sentimental values are for others, but honestly, I held on to one of my daughter's dresses. It's just, honestly, it's just cute. And hi, random guy, how are you? And I do have it there. And hopefully, when she gets older, and have her own children, maybe she'll have a daughter, she can give it to her, and it'll be something that she can pass on. Have I held on to a lot of things? No. There are a lot of things I've given away. I don't like throwing things out, especially if they're in good condition, because it can bring joy to someone else. right? And Goat Guy, yes, how are you? Um, yeah, so I don't sometimes like throwing things away. I do like to donate them because there's so many people in need who don't have. And because I know I have something, I like sharing it with others so that they will feel good, and different things like that. So I hope that you all like to help others to feel good as well. But at the same time, all right, Go Guy, thank you so much for being on here, and I know you have to go. So those are my 5 reasons why moms would actually hold on to certain things. But the thing is that, hi Ali, thank you so much. I like to be kind. That's something I'm very good at, is being kind. So when you come on here and you get to know me a little bit more, you will know that I am a kind person. And so, like I said, there's so many things in life we can, get the answers from the Word of God. And of course, I focus on mothers and motherhood. And of course, when we're talking about this hoarding, is that I don't believe that we should necessarily just hold on to things. I think we should share with others. And it's nice. It's, like I said, it's more blessed to give than to receive. But when you give, a lot of times you get in return. And you give, there's a song that goes, you give till you can't give anymore. You give the most that you can't afford. And then your cup will overflow because you can't outgive the Lord. You know, when you give to the least of them, you do it unto the Lord. When you are doing your best because with the talent that God has given to you, you're doing it unto the Lord. Do you get what I'm saying? Use the talents that you have. And so we're talking about hoarding. Okay. And so the main thing we're talking about, right. So, Jessica, whatsoever you do to the least of my people, that you do unto me. Exactly. And so basketball star, you're at camp. Hi from camp. How are you? Um, and so I'm not really talking about faith in Jesus, but mainly about hoarding and how we use the Word of God practically in our lives to lead better lives. When we look at a lot of wealthy people in the world, they use a lot of biblical principles in their businesses, and they gain their wealth. And so I am looking at the Word of God practically in motherhood. Okay. um and so that's another story, Leger. And so I focus on those 5 things about hoarding. And if there's anything else that you would love to add, I am just going to say, if this resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Share this channel with another mother out there. And I would love for you, all of you who are out there who are watching, who have not subscribed as yet, for you to do so that this channel will get pushed out more often. And then I can start to some, bring on some really good content and others onto the channel, and then we can have some bigger discussions. So I'd love for you to help me out. Like I said, if it's resonating with you, like, subscribe, and I will see you here live next weekend. And as I always say, I love you. I love you. I love you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.